You found the car. Price looks right. The seller seems fine. Photos look clean. You take it for a test drive. It feels okay, so you buy it. 3 months later, you're staring at a $4,000 repair estimate sitting on a service counter. Transmission fluid hadn't been changed in 60,000 miles. Timing belt was still the original one from the factory. The previous owner ran the engine consistently low on oil for about 2 years straight, and nobody told you any of that. They didn't have to. Here's what's worse, nothing in that car's listing, nothing in the test drive, and nothing the seller said would have told you either. That's the part that gets people. It's not that they weren't paying attention. It's that they were looking at the wrong things entirely. The problems that cost you the most money on a used car are the ones you cannot see from the outside. You have to know where to look for them. This is exactly what we're covering today. Every check, every tool, every question in the order that actually matters. Real quick before we get into it, if you're shopping for a used car, planning to shop for one, or you regularly help people in your life make car decisions, subscribe right now and hit the bell. Every week we put out specific practical advice on how to spend your car money without getting taken. No sponsored opinions, no brand deals pushing you toward a particular product. Just the information you need to make a smart decision. Now let's get into the actual checklist. To understand why this matters so much, you need to understand how big the used car market in the United States actually is. Over 40 million used vehicles change hands every year in this country. That number comes from Cox Automotive's annual market data, and it means there are roughly 40 million opportunities for a buyer to end up with someone else's problem. The average transaction price on a used car right now sits around $26,000 to $28,000, according to Manheim and Cox Automotive market reports from 2023 and 2024. That's the average. In states like California, New York, and Washington, average used car prices run higher. In parts of the Midwest and South Ohio, Missouri, Alabama, Mississippi, they tend to run lower, but the maintenance quality risk in the budget market is the same everywhere. Here's the other number that matters. The average age of a light vehicle on American roads hit 12.5 years in 2023 per S&P Global Mobility. That's the average. A lot of what's being sold privately right now is 14, 15, 16 years old. Cars that have been through 2, 3, sometimes 4 owners. Each of those owners had different income levels, different priorities, and different opinions about whether a scheduled service was really necessary. You're buying all of that history when you buy a used car. The question is whether you're going to find out what that history looks like before or after you've handed over the money. The tools to find out exist. Most of them are cheap. What they require is 2 to 3 hours of your time and the self-discipline to not rush just because a car looks nice and a seller seems trustworthy. The single most important thing you can do before you drive to look at any used car is run the VIN from wherever you are right now. The vehicle identification number is a 17-digit alphanumeric code assigned to every vehicle registered in the United States. You'll find it on the dashboard on the driver's side, visible through the lower corner of the windshield, on the sticker inside the driver's door jamb, on the title paperwork, and sometimes stamped on the engine block. A CARFAX single vehicle report costs approximately $40. AutoCheck runs about $25. These aren't the same database, which is why serious buyers often run both on expensive purchases. CARFAX tends to have broader dealer service record coverage. AutoCheck sometimes catches auction and fleet data that CARFAX misses. Between the two, you get a fairly complete documented picture of the vehicle's life accident disclosures, title brands like salvage, rebuilt, flood, or lemon law buyback, the number of previous owners, state-to-state registration history, and critically, mileage. Readings at each reported service or inspection visit. What you're doing is building a timeline. Every time this vehicle was at a dealership, an inspection station, a rental fleet return, or a shop that electronically submits records, the mileage at that moment was stamped into a database. If those mileage points tell a consistent, increasing story, the car checks out on paper. If there are gaps, inconsistencies, or a mileage reading that's higher than what the odometer shows today, you've already found something. Here's the math that catches a lot of deferred maintenance situations. Say the car has 85,000 miles on the odometer. A responsible owner changing oil every 5,000 miles should have approximately 17 oil change records over the vehicle's life, assuming any of them happened at a shop that submits reports electronically. If the CARFAX shows 3 service visits over 7 years of ownership, someone has explaining to do, either most of the maintenance was cash only at off-the-books shops, or it largely wasn't happening. Neither scenario is a clean bill of health. While you're at your computer, go to nhtsa.gov and run the VIN through the free recall database. Open safety recalls on used vehicles are common, and sellers in private transactions are under no legal obligation to disclose or repair them before handing you the keys. A recall on a steering component, a fuel system, or a brake part is not a minor footnote. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration estimates that approximately 450,000 vehicles sold in the United States every year have fraudulent odometer readings. Buyers pay premium prices for lower mileage. Sellers know that some of them use it. Odometer rollback is not a niche crime, it's a documented, ongoing problem at scale. CARFAX catches it when the vehicle was inspected or serviced at a point where the recorded mileage was higher than what the odometer shows now. If the report shows 80,000 miles at a 2018 service visit and the car is currently listed at 63,000, someone rolled it back. Walk away immediately. Pay attention to the wear patterns on the interior too. A car that claims 65,000 miles but has a driver's seat bolster that's cracking and worn through, pedal rubber that's nearly smooth, and a steering wheel leather that's rubbed raw, those things wear on a predictable schedule. If the condition of the interior looks like a 120,000-mile car, the odometer reading is worth questioning. And if a seller refuses to provide the VIN before you schedule a visit, that's your answer before you've spent $1. Every legitimate seller will hand you the VIN without hesitation. A seller who stalls, deflects, or makes excuses when you ask for it is betting that you'll show up in person and be too emotionally committed to the car to walk away over something you then discover. When you arrive, start inspecting before you open anything. Do this under real daylight or under a bright flashlight, not under a single bulb in someone's dim garage. Run your eyes across the exterior panels looking for slight color mismatches to adjacent panels that are the same color but slightly different shades. Look near door seams and rubber trim for overspray, the kind left behind when a body shop masks imperfectly. Check whether the panels sit flush and even against each other, gaps that are wider on one side than the other, or a hood that sits slightly crooked relative to the fenders. These are signs of collision repair that may not appear in any report because it was paid out of pocket. Open the hood. A freshly steam-cleaned engine bay is a yellow flag, not a green one. Sellers clean engine bays to hide oil seepage and active leaks. Start the car, let it run for 10 full minutes, and then look underneath the car on the ground for fresh drips. A little condensation from the AC drain is normal. An oil stain building under the engine or coolant dripping from anywhere is not. Now do the fluid checks. Pull the oil dipstick, wipe it on a white cloth, re-dip it, and pull it again clean. Healthy oil is amber to light brown. Oil that's been sitting too long without a change turns deep black and often has a gritty texture. If it looks and smells burnt and has visible particles in the residue on your cloth, that's telling you this engine was running dirty for a while. Pull the oil cap off the valve cover and look at the underside of the cap itself. Clean, bare metal is what a well-maintained engine produces. If you see white or brown paste like sludge built up on the underside of that cap, you're looking at one of two things: coolant and oil mixing, which indicates a head gasket problem that can run $1,500 to $3,000 to repair, or chronic oil neglect that allowed combustion gases and moisture to contaminate the oil over a long period. Either one is a major red flag that belongs on your negotiating list at minimum, and possibly in the column of reasons not to buy the car at all. Check the coolant reservoir, the translucent plastic tank connected to the radiator. Clean coolant is bright green, orange, or pink depending on the formulation. If it looks brown, murky, or like something you wouldn't want to put your hand in, the system hasn't been flushed in a long time and contamination is present. Check the brake fluid reservoir on the firewall. It should be light golden and translucent. Dark brown brake fluid means it's absorbed moisture over years of use without a flush. Most manufacturer maintenance schedules call for a brake fluid replacement every 2 years or 30,000 miles. Since model year 1996, every passenger vehicle sold in the United States is federally required to have a standardized OBD-II diagnostic port, typically located under the driver's side dashboard within reach of the steering column. A basic OBD-II scanner that reads stored and pending fault codes costs between $20 and $80 at AutoZone, O'Reilly, or on Amazon. This is one of the most underused tools in the used car buyer's kit. Here's why it matters. A seller can clear a check engine light in about 30 seconds using the same type of scanner you'd buy for $20. The light goes off, the car looks clean, but the codes that triggered that light are often stored in the ECU's memory, and a scanner with pending and stored code capability will surface them even with the light currently off. Beyond stored codes, look at the readiness monitor status. After an OBD-II system is reset, it needs several complete drive cycles to run all its self-diagnostic tests and show ready on each monitor. If you plug in your scanner and see 4 or 5 monitors still showing not ready, that system was reset within the last day or two. Sometimes within the last 20 miles, that's not a coincidence. Ask the seller directly when the last time a scanner was plugged into this car. Watch how they answer. Specific codes to take seriously. PO for 2.0 and PO for 3.0 indicate catalytic converter efficiency below threshold. That's a $500 to $1,500 repair on most vehicles. Codes in the PO 300 range indicate engine misfires, which can mean worn spark plugs at best or internal engine issues at worst. Evap system codes like PO for 4.0 or PO for 5.5 often mean a fuel system leak that requires diagnosis and repair. None of these are deal breakers by themselves, but each one is a number to get a real estimate on before you agree to any purchase price. Walk around all 4 corners and look at the tires. Ideally, all 4 should be the same brand and roughly the same age. If you see a Michelin or Bridgestone on one front corner and a no-name budget tire on the other front corner, someone replaced one tire after an incident and didn't bother to match the pair. It's a small thing, but it tells you something about how this owner thought about maintenance and how they thought about safety. Tread depth check. Insert a quarter into the tread groove with Washington's head pointing down. If the top of his head is visible above the tread, the tires are at roughly 2/32 of an inch remaining. That's effectively worn out, and you're looking at $400 to $800 for a replacement set on a standard sedan. More on trucks and SUVs. Also check the sidewalls for cracks or bulges. A sidewall bulge is a blowout that hasn't happened yet. For brakes, look through the wheel spokes at the rotor and caliper. You can usually see the pad material pressed against the rotor face. 3 to 4 millimeters of pad left is acceptable. If it looks thinner than a credit card, the brakes are overdue. A full 4-corner brake job pads and rotors on a mid-size sedan runs $300 to $800 depending on the make and shop. In high cost of living markets like the Bay Area, New York, or Seattle, you'll be at the high end of that range. Ask the seller directly, do you have any service records? Receipts, invoices from a shop, dealer visit, printouts, anything in writing. A responsible owner usually has something. A glove box with a handful of folded oil change receipts is more reassuring than a confident, "Oh yeah, I kept up on everything," with zero documentation. If any of the reported service was done at a franchise dealership, call that dealership's service department with the VIN. Many franchise dealers in the U.S. Toyota, Honda, Ford, Chevrolet, and others maintain service records tied to the VIN permanently, even years after the vehicle was sold off their lot. A 5-minute call can tell you what was done, when it was done, and what the mileage was at each visit. That information either lines up with what the seller told you, or it doesn't. If the car has held up through every step above and you still want it, do not buy it without an independent pre-purchase inspection. Find your own mechanic. Not the dealer's service department, not someone the seller recommends, not a shop across the street from the lot because it's convenient. An independent shop with no financial interest in whether you make this purchase. A pre-purchase inspection in the U.S. runs between $100 and $200 in most markets. For that you get a full lift inspection of the undercarriage looking for rust, frame damage, fluid leaks, and worn suspension components plus fluid level checks, brake measurement, tire assessment, and a full OBD scan. You get the findings in writing. That written report also becomes a negotiating document if the car has issues that weren't disclosed upfront. This step is not optional on any purchase above $5,000. And if a seller says they're not comfortable letting you take the car to a mechanic before you buy, that's not a personality quirk, that's the answer. The only reason to block that inspection is the belief that the car will fail it. First-time buyers under 30, shopping in the under $15,000 segment, are the most exposed group in the used car market. Not because they're naive, because they're shopping in the range where poorly maintained vehicles are most concentrated and where seller pressure tactics are most commonly used. The other people are interested line is one of the oldest moves in private car sales. It's occasionally true. It's also the tool sellers use when they want to stop you from slowing down long enough to check anything. Any car worth buying will still be there after you've run a two-day inspection process. If a seller gives you a 2-hour window to decide before you've run the VIN, checked the fluids, or scheduled a mechanic, treat that urgency itself as a warning sign. Walk away. There's another car. Buyers who want substantially lower risk should look at certified pre-owned inventory from Toyota, Honda, or General Motors. CPO programs include documented multi-point inspections and come with limited powertrain warranties in the $12,000 to $20,000 range. A CPO vehicle that's 1 or 2 years old often makes more practical sense than a cheaper private sale vehicle where the maintenance history is largely unknown. You cannot see maintenance history in a listing photo. You cannot feel it in a 15-minute test drive around the block. You find it in the color and texture of the oil on the dipstick. You find it in what the OBD scanner surfaces when you plug in before the test drive. You find it in whether the mileage numbers in the CARFAX history actually add up. And you find it definitively in what an honest mechanic tells you after putting the car up on a lift and spending an hour looking at what the seller didn't show you. Everything you need to do all of this costs under $300 total. A CARFAX report at $40. An OBD scanner at $20 to $80. A pre-purchase inspection at $100 to $200. $300 to protect a $15,000, $20,000, or $25,000 purchase. The math is not complicated, and the logic is not debatable. Sellers who maintain their cars have nothing to be afraid of. They will welcome every check you want to run because they know what you're going to find. The sellers who rush you, limit your time with the car, refuse the mechanic visit, or get defensive when you ask questions, they already know what a real inspection is going to turn up. Buy the car that passes, walk away from the one that doesn't, and under no circumstances skip the mechanic.